What's up, people? I am back for another video. I was supposed to do Lover's Lane today, but I could not find it anywhere. I'll see if maybe I can find it on Archive. If I can't, I might just have to abandon that, and then we'll just do my angsty teen video tomorrow. But today, we are doing Troll 2. So, granted, yeah, it's a Thursday, technically, or almost Friday now, because it's midnight now. But it's still a bad movie. I want to get one done this week. So today we're doing Troll 2. This is a movie I learned about years ago from a channel called I think it used to be called I think it's called I Hate Everything. And I remember I think it was specifically his video where I learned about this movie's existence. This movie and like movies like The Room, a lot of those kind of movies. And like throughout the years, I would watch people roast this movie. I didn't sit all the way through it. So last night was like my first time watching it like all the way through. Not like a condensed 30-40 minute cut of someone roasting it where they splice the movie together. No, like this is actually the first time watching it sitting all the way through, and my god. It's bad, but it's I'd almost say it's so bad it's good. I fucking had a fun time. The acting from the entire family. Joshua, I thought was overacting. Like it was like almost every line he was screaming, not screaming, but he would like talk loud and raise his octave. Like, god damn, kid, pipe down, man. You seem like way too excited. And then you got the sister who like doesn't give a fuck. Like there's a moment in the movie where he's like imagining, like he has like a nightmare where has a vision of his family turning into the goblins, and he talks and he tells his family about it, and the sister's just like, "What's wrong, little brother?" It's like, why'd you say it like that? It's like the law, and this probably is gonna be the thumbnail. I don't know. You would think the thumbnail would be probably the iconic scene of "Oh my God," but I'm sorry. You all gotta see this. The mom's eyes. She looks drugged the fuck out. Like her eyes are just like wide the fuck open the entire time, and it. There's times it's like straight up unsettling. I'm like, God, bitch, what are you on? And like I said, the acting from everybody. They moved to this town called Nilbog, which turns out to be Goblin. Which, by the way, they're not even fucking trolls. They're goblins. The costumes look like really bad. The you have the obviously the scene. They're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me. It's like in watching it like actually in context now, and not just seeing that scene or just seeing a condensed version of it. It's even funnier. But this movie is like everything wrong with filmmaking, but it's also fun. I can get high, get drunk, and watch this movie and like have a fun time. Especially if I'm watching it with some friends or something. But obviously, it's not gonna be something I watch all the time. But if I want to rag on it a couple times, because it's so I've never even seen Troll One. I don't even think I've ever. I don't even think I'm gonna go back and see it because I literally don't even see anybody talking about the first Troll movie. They literally just talk Troll 2. The only talk is about this one, not even that first movie. I literally don't even hear about the first Troll movie. It's literally this one. And I'm probably going to title this video Movie is a Meme because it really is. It literally, like, just, there's a couple frames you could just stop. You have, like, Joshua's grandfather, and the mom's advice for Joshua, just forget about him. Like, what the fuck? Who the fuck says that? You lose your grandfather. And keep in mind, this is her dad. So she just said, hey, forget about him. I'm just going to forget about him. And this dog basically is a cult. Because I think they do like a weird house swap. They don't even explain it. It's just random. And the grandfather basically tries to wants Joshua to stop the family from eating the food because the food there's no like in this town like meat's not allowed. Basically everything but vegetables. And it turns out it's ran by this witch. I'm not even gonna care about the name. Her, it's like you could tell she was like a theater actress. And the thing is, because I don't think if this was, it's just her delivery does not match with everybody else's. Because the way she's playing it like theater. You can definitely tell whoever the actress is who played the witch clearly was just, I'm just gonna do my theater acting. But not in a good way, because I think like Ian McKellen, for example, he does that, but in a good way, where there is times he will use his gravitas, and because that's one thing with theater actors, especially if they're really good, a lot of them have very much gravitas with the way they say lines and deliver them. This lady doesn't. It's just so the way she does it, it comes off like I'm just gonna overly pronounce my words and use a lot of syllables. That's my theater acting. It's so bad, man, but it's entertaining. There's a point where the grandfather, who's like, it's like he appears in mirrors when the family gets handed food. He basically tells Joshua to stop the family, and he gives them like he freezes. He basically pauses time. I don't know how. They don't explain how the fucking grandfather has all these powers somehow. He's able to stop time, but only for 30 seconds, which makes that even alone. That's convenient. Only 30 seconds. And funny enough, the whole thing, what Joshua did, that was way over 30 seconds. There was like a good, like, almost minute where he was like, debating what to do, and I'm like, okay, this has definitely been over 30 minutes. This is like a minute. But whatever. So what he does, he decides to pee on the food, which is I get he's a kid, but is that but he's not like a kid. He seems like he's somewhat old enough to know that's not an option. Not just take the food and throw it away. You have 30 seconds, so you just take it off the table. No, he pees on. And then the dad goes on this like fucking speech about hospitality. Is one of the funniest things. You don't piss on hospitality. It's so bad, man. I'm happy I decided to do this film. Eventually, we're gonna get to some of those Seagal ones because there's some bad Seagal ones out there. But it honestly, guys, I've been wanting to do Bad Movie Wednesdays for a while. I just haven't been able to. Granted, it's not a Wednesday, but I've been wanting to kind of get back to roasty movies like this. Because if I'm going to roast bad shit, at least stuff like this is funny. Like, this movie is so bad, but it's funny as fuck. And even, like, the climax, basically what it ends with is fucking Joshua eating meat. He eats like a sandwich. So his body's poisonous to the goblins and they all die, basically. It's so bad, man. I mean, if you guys are gonna watch this, I would definitely say watch it like you gotta just know going in this is not gonna be good. And if you just want to see how bad it is, because a lot of people have talked about this like over the years. Like this film, I'm not gonna call it a cult classic because it's not, but I guess in a way it is, but not for good reasons. It's a cult classic for how bad it is. Like I would almost put that in this with like The Room. For me, I know some people just straight up hate it, but for me, Batman and Robin, Leprechaun in the Hood, like movies like that. Because I'm not gonna lie, I had fucking fun watching this. As bad as this was, just marveling at how like atrocious everything, the costumes, the set design, the music, which just almost sounds like it's on a loop at times. The fucking what else is bad about this movie? Like everything, the act, like literally every actor. The sister has a boyfriend who comes out in the woods camping with like his friends, and one of the friends is the one in the glasses who goes for some reason just finds a random girl who apparently I guess she was running from the goblins, but just somehow is just this hot chick just running in the woods. And yeah, this is when you first see the goblins like in their true form. And yeah, this movie, it's a fucking trip. The fact, and keep in mind, this was apparently released in theaters, so they wanted you to pay money for this piece of shit. It's fucking wild that they actually try to charge you for this shit. But like I said, I was thoroughly entertained. I'm not gonna say it knows what it is. No, it's not. It's not one of those movies, but I still had fun with it. And yeah, but definitely it's in the so bad it's good category. Um Tomorrow I will be doing a video on angsty teens, on the angsty teen trope specifically. Because I'm just kind of tired of it. There are times it works. And, there were times, even in the 80s and 90s, they did it sporadically, but they didn't do it with every kid or teen character like they do now. I'm going to go into that because, like, I feel like that's a trope that I'm just tired of at this point, that I feel like it's just so overdone. Um, but other than that, subscribe to Pin Down Podcast. Sorry we didn't go live last night. Last second shit came up. So, nope, we didn't do Pin Down last. We didn't review AEW last night, but we should be back Saturday. So for sure Saturday we should be live. Look out for that. Other than that, let's get into this shit. Because literally it's a shit show. So the movie kind of kicks off where we get a so this is where we meet Joshua, who lives in the woods, who is imagining his uncle telling him a story. The grandfather, when he's actually, there's a moment where because you actually see him for a second, he's not just like a ghost. Or he is a ghost, but he's not like just in a mirror for like a lot of, like, for the rest of the movie. He's actually like sitting in a chair telling Joshua a story. And this is where he tells him about the goblins. Joshua, and this is where you first see the mom, and my god, the mom just looks constantly drugged out. And it's insane. And maybe she just looks like that. And I guess in that sense, I'm sorry, but my god. Like, she literally doesn't even look like she blinks. It's like every scene when you see her, it's so off-putting. I'm sorry. First times it's just in her acting too. It's like mixed with her acting because she's not a good actress. None of these people are good because even the dad, who, no, the family is just like a basic family, but there's no characterization. Joshua, I keep saying it, overacts. Like there's every scene where he's like, he can't just talk his words, and I get it. There are kids like that sometimes just talk loud. There are. I've seen it. But fuck, man. It's like, simmer down, Josh. And I get it when he's trying to warn his family about the goblins, but it just, I don't know, man. It comes off like, ugh. And he got the sister who's dating this guy who, he has no character. He just, I want to hit her whole, literally their whole storyline is, you hang out with your friends too much. You gotta choose your friends or me. I'm gonna say it. She's straight up abusive. Like, there is scenes she just straight up punches him. She, like, later on, like, she just punches him in the face. I think there's a scene she punches him in the chest. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, god damn. What's going on, little brother? Like, that scene every time. Because it's like, your brother just told you, and I get it. You could even have, like, you couldn't even just write, like, oh, I think you're crazy. No, literally, it's, what's going on, little brother? Like, wow. You totally didn't just read that off the fucking script. But anyway, oh, man, this movie's incredible. So, and apparently and I guess her dad doesn't like her boyfriend, but the movie doesn't really even show that. It was granted, because her dad doesn't really talk about her boyfriend. If he does, I don't remember it. Because, yeah, there's a scene they're driving to the house, and he imagines his grandfather. Joshua imagines it's his grandfather again. So he has them because he sees like a whole. I think it's like a guy trying to stop, ask for like a hitch, ask for a ride, and and sees his grandfather. So yeah, they get to the house. I will say this: the movie goes quick. It's not a long fucking movie. It at least goes fucking quick. Um, they get to the house and they find nothing but milk, which is like looks like basically expired. And then they are offered like basically vegetables. There's a scene where one of Elliot, that's the boyfriend, and I guess his friends are out also camping too, and they're looking for hot chicks. Which why are you looking for hot chicks in the fucking woods? Like, the fuck? It's like what? It's like did this turn into like an '80s slasher? Like what is happening? Like a group of dudes go out looking for hot chicks and they this way they get murdered. Like it's what it sounds like. But so one of Elliot's friends is the guy in the glass who says the "Oh my God" line. Walks out and then he's in the woods and that's when he sees like a random blonde chick. He stops her, asks her what's going on, and that's when you see the goblins for the first time. And people throughout the town are like weird, but it's so overacted from everybody. It's not even like it's Children of the Cornish kind of, but very bad Children of the Corn. um and yeah, you see the goblins where they're clearly like masks. Like they didn't even try. And then, like that's the other thing. This is called Troll 2, but they're not trolls. I've never seen the first Trolls. So I don't even know. Maybe in that movie they were actually it involved trolls, but in this they were fucking goblins. They are not trolls at all. The name is such a false advertising because there's no trolls at all. They're all goblins. Because one, trolls would be taller. They would not be short. They generally would be taller. It's so bad, man. So the guy runs with the girl into the to this church, which when you first see it, it looks fake as fuck. I don't. What I mean is, it almost. And I understand this movie came out in '90, so they wouldn't have had. I think they may have had green screen, but it wasn't great. But it almost did look green screened in when you first see the church. It's like they didn't look like they're actually looking at a church. I'm like, what the fuck? And then, yeah, that's when they get in, and that's when you see the witch for the first time. And my God, her acting. Like, when you first meet her, even when she just first says her name, hold on, let me see if it says it. Credence Lenore Gill. I cannot pronounce her last name, but she basically brings the trolls in because as we get the reveal, the way I see it, I think she's in charge of them. That's the vibe I get. She's the one who's actually powering the town with her magic, and the guy is forced to be stuck, and because ends up being turned into a tree. Obviously, later on, um, but the girl ends up they're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me. Oh my God! It's like, holy shit! That is some of the funniest delivery. Like, what? Like, how did this get made? And then the funnier part is you might notice on his forehead like a fly just plops down when he says the "Oh my God" line. And yeah, because apparently like you get eaten, you turn into like fucking fruit mulch, not fruit, vegetable mulch, and they eat you. That's basically the movie. And that's when he gets transformed into a tree, basically. One of Elliot's friends, like another one of them, goes out because goes to like town for groceries. He gets picked up by the sheriff, and the sheriff tells him about the town, and he asks him and when certain things are mentioned, like because when the guy is asking, it gets thirsty, and he asks for like water. They don't have that. They don't have meat. hate coffee because it goes into the shop and you see like this weird shop owner who he kind of reminds me of fucking Ralph from fucking Crazy Ralph from Friday the 13th a little bit. Kind of gave me those vibes. That like that feel. But yeah, the acting was so over the top. He ends up going to oh, I guess before that, there's a scene where Josh goes to a church and he sees I'll just say the goblins, but they're like in their human form, go on about meat and go on, and the pastor who's doing this the preacher who's doing the preaching, he I saw someone say this and I can't unsee it. He kind of does. Someone said he looks like an 80s wrestler. He kind of does. Like I can see him being like a low jobber in WWF at the time. Like he did look like even the way he would do his preaching, it did feel like a wrestling promo at times. But he was funny. Like in terms of the villains, he was pretty funny. The way he would overact. Oh, this is after the scene where Josh does the peeing on the food, which because the town gives him food and the grandfather tells Joshua to you have 30 seconds to get rid of the food because they don't want the if the family eats the food they basically become I think what it's they don't explain this is just kind of what I'm gathering. I figure if you eat the food you get brainwashed and you get become part of the cult or you become a goblin. I was saying gremlin. Jesus Christ, I don't want to tie gremlins to this shit. But yeah, um, kind of that's what I gather. They don't explain the lore at all. The shit just kind of happens. Um, fucking. Okay, what's next? So, Elliot's friend who goes for water, or goes to the church, ends up finding his friend, but in tree form. But then, yeah, Lenore, I'll just call her Lenore. She beats him up and kills him. Basically, it's kind of the vibe I get. Um, his father, back at the preacher, Joshua gets captured, um, and his father saves him. Um, okay, no, okay, now I got the order right. Okay, so yeah, he prepares him food, and that's when Elliot pees on the food. It's like that's your first fucking thought, and I get it. He was a kid, but I would maybe accept if this was like a 6-year old kid. But not Elliot, Joshua at least looked like 8 or 9. Like I feel like at that age, you could come up with something better than that. And yeah, obviously the fact that for some reason the grandfather can only pause time for 30 seconds, which clearly was more than 30 seconds. That was a whole minute before he even pondered what to do before he did the whole piss thing. And the father has like the weirdest reaction, and then the sister's like, he deserves to get beaten a little shit. Like she calls his brother a little shit for no reason. It's like what the fuck? And then the father, you don't piss on hospitality. And then you think he's like, because he's like, I'm loosening his belt buckle. You think he's like about to beat him with the belt. But he's like, no, I'm like, he's like something about like fixing my belt. It was so fucking weird. It's like, the absurdity of this fucking movie is astounding. It's like, how? How did this get made? How did this get greenlit? Were they all just high? Like on like cocaine? Like, as this is like one of those. Actually, I don't even know. I was like, you had to be on cocaine to come up with this, but I feel like you can come up. There's a lot of shit people came up with cocaine that's better than this. So they throw a party, and That's where Uncle's ghost appears, but it appears in the wrong like room because he appears in the sister's room. Okay, the sisters. I saw it. I just realized the sister's name was like Holly or something, and that's when this is where the family basically starts believing Joshua because now the sister's seen it, and the mom, man, I don't know if she didn't give a fuck, but the way she there was like even when like there I'll jump ahead like not jumping ahead a little bit. There's a scene where like the townspeople or the goblins, whatever you want to call them, start attacking the house, and the mom just sounds so fucking unbothered. It's like even in the scenes where like she's trying to look like she's like scared, it's not believable. Like you don't buy it. I'm like, wow, you're just phoning it in, lady. Also look just very drugged out. I'm like, my god. Another like kind of movie that's kind of fun to roast would be I'm gonna throw The Happening in there. Do you like hot dog? You like hot dogs? It's like this is what this kind of reminds me of. Like even though this came first, like it's the same, just awkward, like just delivery from some of the characters. It is. It's just like what? Who wrote this? And so yeah, the goblins come and attack the house. Um, so the priest gets killed. I'll just kind of jump ahead, and then that's when the family communicates with Seth. Some reason they're able to the Seth, who's the grandfather, they're just able to commune with him. Like now, like even though they didn't have to do that before. Well, because before he just Uncle, I guess they wanted to get the grandfather to come to everybody, but it's like you were coming to Elliot just fine. You didn't need to do this whole seance bullshit. So that's when they confront the witch. Um, they go to Credence's chapel. For some reason, they're just able to find a sandwich. I'm assuming the way I saw Grandpa manifested it into existence. I don't know how. Some reason there's a sandwich. He eats it, and I guess he touches Stonehenge, and the gremlins are dead. It's like what the fuck? It is the most very rushed third act too. Like they didn't even try to like at least build up to it. Oh, they just do this seance. Convenient sandwich. Goblins destroyed. It's like what the fuck? Granted, it has a good message. Meat's good. That is basically the only good thing I got out of this movie. It is so bad, but I had so much fun watching this last night. Like I this like how did this exist? Like the fact that this got greenlit, and I think this was theatrically released. I don't think this was like straight to. Oh, apparently it was originally titled Goblins. So that was the original title, apparently. Oh, apparently I don't think this did it. I think this was straight to DVD. Like, okay, so apparently it wasn't released in theaters, but even then, this still somehow got released. It's fucking great. Maybe one of these, like, bad movies I would do. There was one I was supposed to do, I kind of just forgot about. Plan 9 from Outer Space. That's a trip, too. The Room, I'm gonna definitely get to that. There's a couple out there, man. So, but yeah, this was fucking wild. It's a wild movie. That this somehow got greenlit. Oh my god. I just that's all this movie's known for is that line, really. They're eating her. They're gonna eat me. And the way he says it, it's like he's trying to make it seem like he has urgency, but it's fake urgency. It's like, ugh. But yeah, obviously, out of 10, we're gonna have to do this objectively. It's probably like a 3 out of 10. But in terms of entertainment value, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 just because I had fun. I loved how absurd this fucking movie is. Granted, was that the intention? Probably fucking not, but whatever. I had fucking fun watching this and just roasting and how absurd it is, man. Like, everything, the acting, the set pieces, the fact it was mistitled. They were trying to tie it to troll, even though they weren't fucking trolls. They were goblins. And the fact that it apparently was originally called Goblin makes sense now. Why they're fucking goblins. Oh man, maybe if it was called Goblins, it would have worked better. But yeah, ugh, it was bad, man. And the fucking shit thing, the poster actually looks good. This is back in the '90s where a lot, even bad movies got like great fucking posters. So, but yeah, that's all I can really say. I mean, you know what you're getting with fucking Troll 2. So, tomorrow I will be doing that angsty teen video. I want to just it's a tired trope that every teen character, especially nowadays, especially in horror, it's like much more noticeable in horror, where it just feels like they're just doing it because they don't know how to write teens anymore, or have variety. Like, not it is not even always teens. They even fucking gave the trope to fucking Batman in The Batman. And I'm gonna go a bit more into that tomorrow. And it's just like, stop it, man. Not all teens are assholes who hate their parents. You may have those moments, right, where you're angsty. You're not saying teens didn't always have, even in older shows. But when that's the only way you write teenagers now, it's fucking annoying. It's almost like it shows you're a hack. That's my way of seeing you're a hack. When you can't just write them as normal people. Or if like the story actually calls for it. But sometimes it would just be nice to see it like a teen, because not all teenagers just are angsty. There are teenagers that are just they like their parents, and they used to be able to write that shit. But it's like now, no, it's always just all angst now. Maybe at one point it was relatable, but now it's just such an overdone. It's become a trope. So I'm gonna go more into that tomorrow. Pin Down Podcast, which we should definitely be back Saturday for sure. So look out for that. Spotify link will also be in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching, y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later.